Hello and good morning to you. I'm Myra Ansari here for Wave Now. So we are talking about something that's really important because we never want you to become a victim. And that's why we are joined with Jeff Chandler of Z-JAK Technologies, a company based here in Louisville. And Hacker Holiday is a thing of the past. People kind of think, well, the holidays are past. What I do online is probably safe. But that is not always the case. Jeff is joining me now via Zoom here today. Jeff, thank you so much for your time and talking with us here on Wave Now. First, tell us about your company. As I mentioned, you're here in Louisville. What does your company do?
Yeah, so we work with small business owners primarily and just help them understand technology, make good technology decisions, and then try to protect them from the hackers.
You were talking to me about this. In years past, hacker attempts slowed down in the months following the busy holiday shopping season, January to April. We kind of saw things slow down, but that is not the case anymore.
Right. So what we've seen in the past is the hackers really ramp up their efforts over the holidays because people are shopping a lot more online. Businesses aren't as diligent because people are off. So they take a sort of a break in January, slow down a little bit. And it just reminds us that the hackers run this as a business. So to them, it's a business, and they want to take a little time off. So typically in the past, it's been a little bit slower in the early part of the year, but that's just not the case anymore.
This statistic that you shared with me is very alarming. 2022 saw an unbelievable 110% increase in phishing emails in the first few months of the year. And we cybersecurity experts like you expect to see even more this year. Why is that the case?
Right. So it's just getting more and more prevalent. So what we're seeing is they're getting more inventive. So what they're doing is they're taking advantage of a lot of these free websites like Linktree, website builders, those sorts of things. And so what they do is they put their links within those legitimate websites so that when you go to click a link, it looks like it's a legitimate website. But in reality, once you get there, it's spoofed from, say, a Microsoft Office login or something like that. So they're just taking advantage of that and trying just to help you let your guard down a little bit.
So these bad guys that are out there, for lack of a better term, Jeff, what exactly are they looking for? What are they hoping that we're going to do to make their job easier for kind of infiltrating our business, our personal information?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to them, what they're trying to do is really just get your user IDs and passwords. So people will use the same user IDs, passwords, or the same passwords on multiple sites. So if they can get that password to say your school website, for example, or something that maybe you're not as diligent about, and then start trying that password on your banking site, on your work account, now potentially they have access to your bank account, or they can infiltrate your business and take data from your business. And if you're in healthcare or financial services, and you've got any sort of confidential information on your clients, that's just a gold mine for them.
And from my research in the past, stories that I've done, most of the time when you become a victim of this, it is, number one, devastating, but two, it is really hard to hold that other party accountable, but it's also very difficult to kind of get back to that safe space. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Just think about how difficult it is if you had a data breach and your information shows up on a dark web website, or they're starting to share that data with other criminals. Now you've got to start watching your credit report. You've got to just be more careful about who you're sharing the information with, and potentially they could really upend your life that way.
So you work with small businesses to maximize the benefits of technology. So what do you do to kind of go into businesses or individuals to kind of protect their privacy?
Yeah, so we work with businesses and we create multiple layers of security. So it's not just enough to have an antivirus software anymore. So we create multiple around the four pillars, we call them. So make sure you've got good password protection. So we set up password managers for businesses. Individuals, we strongly encourage you to do that as well. So you can use different passwords on all of your sites. We work with them to make sure multi-factor authentication is set up properly. If you've got that text message you get to confirm that you're really trying to log in to, say, your bank, that's going to help you be more secure. User education, so people who work at these businesses understand what a phishing email looks like. The better prepared they are, and the more that they're used to seeing those types of things, the more we can help them. And then the last piece is really just making sure everything stays up to date. If they've got systems up to date and they're patched properly, they're less likely to get hacked.
And Jeff, you mentioned phishing emails. Can you explain to folks what that is, what that may look like?
Yeah, so a lot of them are just emails where they're trying to get you to click a link, and in particular, things that people are probably more familiar with around the holidays, where you get an email that says, "Hey, your package delivery's been delayed. Click here to update your information." So what they might do at that point is have you click a login. It looks like a login to a shopping site like Amazon, for example, and then once you put in your credentials, now they've scraped your user ID and your password, and now potentially they could log into your shopping account and order more things for you.
You know, what would you advise, Jeff, for folks to do? Because, I've gotten those text messages like like you mentioned, or you have won a free iPad. And, when your gut tells you, you should really listen to your gut. But what do you suggest folks should do? Because most of the time you can contact companies directly and find out what the case is, right?
Exactly. So what we tell people to do is, if you get that text message from your shopping site, go to that site directly and log in, and then put in your information and see if you've got any messages that way. Same thing with your bank. Call your bank. Be suspicious. If you're not expecting it, just be careful and contact that person directly to verify the information.
Do businesses, Jeff, have a responsibility to protect their employees' private information and keep employees educated? What responsibility do businesses have?
Yeah, absolutely. So not only protecting their employees, but protecting their customers. So what we found, and the statistics show that businesses, and especially small businesses, within 6 months of a cyber attack where they've had a data breach, more than half of those businesses are out of business because they can't deal with the financial repercussions of that. So they've got a responsibility to not only their employees, but to their clients to keep that information safe.
Because obviously, Jeff, if a client feels like, well, this happened, my information was breached, I don't trust you moving forward. That's usually the case.
Right, exactly. And it's not only just that reputational hit that you get, it could be regulatory fines. So if you're, say, a medical practice and you have that sort of data breach, now you've got HIPAA fines, you've got potentially regulator fines, all sorts of things that can happen, and then lawsuits and other things that can happen. So it could just be devastating for a small business.
And Jeff, from your knowledge, do hackers, do they typically go after individuals, or do they go after businesses typically, or is it both?
It's both, really. They're not discriminated against either one. They're just sort of combing the web. Anybody who will click a link. Like I said, if they go after an individual at your house and they potentially get your password, so many people use that same password for an email account that they might use for their work account. And now they've potentially got a window into your business to take over that business.
And from what I've found, most of these hackers, they're sometimes in different countries. Prosecuting, going after, getting your money back is virtually impossible.
Exactly. So it could be in Russia, North Korea, China, places where it's really difficult for us to really do anything about it.
So Jeff, overall the message, if one last thing you could tell folks today, what they should do, give me a rundown of what businesses and individuals can do to protect themselves and their private information.
Yes. So first thing we just remind people is just be diligent and just don't become numb to it. It just seems like it's in the news every single day. Somebody's got a data breach or somebody's been hacked, and you kind of think it's hopeless. There's nothing I can do about it. But there is something you can do about it, and just make sure that you're not an easy target for the criminals. So number one, make sure you're using really strong passwords, and use different passwords for all of your websites. Again, turn on multi-factor authentication, especially for your financial accounts or your email account. Make sure you understand what a phishing email looks like. Get some education. If your business does not have any kind of phishing education program going on, that's something we can help with. And then the last thing is just make sure you keep everything up to date. When those updates come out, even like in your Chrome browser, when you see in that upper right corner where it says update, or there's a security update and it turns red, don't wait till it turns red. Just update that browser immediately so you take care of any issues that might come up.
All right, Jeff, this was super helpful information. Where can folks go to learn more about Z-JAK Technologies, your company?
Yeah, they just go to zjak.net, zjak.net. We've got tons of information there. We even have a tool where you can test your password, see how long it would take a hacker to crack it using some sort of brute force technique.
That's interesting. Does that surprise a lot of folks?
It's just kind of a fun little tool to show people how easy it is and to potentially crack your password.
Mm.
Now that time is coming down for sure with smarter and faster computers, but it just kind of gives you a rough idea.
And one last question for you. People may think out there, well, how did these hackers find me? Like, how did they target me? How does that happen?
Yeah, they're not targeting you in particular. They're targeting everybody. So they have scanners running across the internet. They are just randomly trying things, and they'll send out millions and millions of emails, scan the internet, and they're just looking for somebody who hasn't done what they need to do. And then if they get a hit, now you're a target, and they're going to come back and try to take advantage of you that way.
Well, this has been super helpful, Jeff. Is there anything that I did not ask you today that you want our viewers to know here today?
Yeah, just be cautious. Check with your vendors, with your stores, your banks. Just check with them. If it wasn't expected, just be careful and contact them directly.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff, for your time today. I'm Myra Ansari. We just spoke with Jeff Chandler from Z-JAK Technologies here in the Louisville area. Jeff, I thank you for your time, and I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.